I had been with this company for nearly 2 years now. Upon my initial entry, I was filled with grand aspirations. They assured me of a promising future, a clear career trajectory, and a salary that appeared quite appealing. As the months passed, it became evident that those promises were merely hollow expressions. The compensation I was assured never materialized. Indeed, there are minor obstacles along the way, yet nothing of great significance. It wasn't as if I was in dire straits, yet when you're promised one thing and then confronted with a starkly different reality, it leaves a bitter taste. What can you tell me about the opportunities for advancement? There was none. I found myself in the same role since the moment I came on board. There are no opportunities for advancement or promotions. I sensed a stagnation in my journey. Indeed, I had come to a decision. I had reached my limit. After putting it off for some time, I finally decided that today was the day to take action. I had already composed my resignation letter. It was concise, formal, and direct. No emotional displays. Only the bare essentials. I decided to leave as I sensed a lack of value, fair compensation, and recognition for my contributions. This wasn't the first instance of such feelings, yet this time, I had reached my limit. That day, the office was enveloped in a serene stillness. The majority of my colleagues were either attending meetings or working remotely. It seemed like the ideal moment to submit my letter. I snatched the letter from my desk and made my way directly to my boss's office. Or at least that was my intention. As I strolled down the corridor, I noticed Kryra, the wife of my boss, approaching me. Earlier that week, she had been at the office for a charity event they were hosting, but I certainly hadn't anticipated crossing paths with her today. She maintained a courteous demeanor, yet our conversations rarely extended beyond the standard pleasantries. In her late 30s, she exuded a captivating presence that effortlessly drew attention, despite being a bit older than me. "Greetings, Kevin," she remarked with a cheerful expression. "How is everything progressing?" "Hello, Kryra, all is well." "Just the usual," I remarked, attempting to dismiss the unease that lingered within me. She arched an eyebrow. "Your confidence seems a bit wavering on that point. Are you all right?" For a brief moment, I paused. To be truthful, I had my reservations about diving in, but her sincere curiosity prompted me to open up. "I'm on the verge of resigning," I declared, brandishing the letter. "I am delivering this to Mr. Tambos. I sense a stagnation in my progress here. The compensation isn't quite what I anticipated, and there seems to be a lack of opportunities for advancement." Kryra gazed at me for a moment, her expression a mystery. She moved in closer, ensuring that our conversation remained private. "Kevin," she murmured softly. "I truly empathize with your situation, but before making any hasty decisions, could we take a moment to discuss this?" I found myself puzzled by her words, yet it was clear that her sincerity shone through. I had always recognized her kindness, but I was surprised by how deeply she cared about my job situation. "Of course," I replied, slightly perplexed yet open to understanding. She guided me to a cozy lounge area in the office, a serene escape from the typical hustle and bustle of the crowd. We both settled into our seats, and she regarded me with a contemplative expression before continuing her thoughts. "I see where you're coming from," she replied, "but if you don't mind me probing a bit, have you thought about the broader perspective? You've been here for 2 years, and I see great promise in you. Perhaps it's not immediately apparent, but there are some upcoming opportunities that could significantly alter your situation." I arched an eyebrow. "Could you clarify what you mean?" "I have been requesting a promotion for several months now. Everything remains the same." She took a brief moment, visibly considering her choice of words. "Imagine if I revealed that I have something even more remarkable to share with you. Something that would make your time here truly rewarding." I was completely surprised. "What are you referring to?" I inquired, uncertain if I had understood her correctly. She announced that a promotion was being offered to you. An authentic one. More than merely a title, this comes with a significant pay increase, 3 times what you currently earn. You will take the helm of an exciting new department that we are about to unveil. This is a significant move, Kevin. A significant obligation. I have faith in your ability to manage it. I gazed at her, utterly bewildered. This was absolutely wild. A promotion of that nature was nearly unprecedented in our organization, particularly for an individual who was on the brink of resignation. I anticipated perhaps a slight increase or a more humble proposal. However, this exceeded all my expectations. What is the reason behind this offer? I finally found the courage to ask. I am on the verge of departing. It's not as if these opportunities have been presented to me in the past. Corriera leaned in, locking her gaze with mine. My faith in you, Kevin, is unwavering. And since I desire your presence to remain. It may appear abrupt, yet often the best chances arise when you are least prepared for them. I paused, absorbing the weight of her words. I was taken aback by her offer. Far beyond anything I could have imagined. It transcended mere financial gain. It was the acknowledgement, the chance to finally demonstrate my abilities. As I reflected on it, it increasingly appeared to be the correct decision. I was on the verge of deciding to go, but now, circumstances had shifted. Very well, I replied, meeting her gaze directly. I will remain. I accept the offer. Her smile radiated satisfaction. I had faith that you would choose wisely. In an instant, the world transformed. What I believed would mark the conclusion of my journey with this company transformed into an exciting new chapter. Unbeknownst to me, this was merely the beginning of a journey that would unfold into complexities beyond my wildest dreams. The following days passed in a haze. I had officially accepted Carrera's offer, and while one part of me was still grappling with the shock of it all, another part couldn't help but feel incredibly fortunate. 3 times the pay? A genuine advancement? It was challenging to fully comprehend it. That morning, I entered the office with a fresh determination. I had a meeting lined up with Mr. Tambos to go over the specifics of my new role, and surprisingly, I felt quite at ease. Absolutely not. Indeed, a sense of excitement was beginning to stir within me. After what felt like an eternity, it finally appeared that my professional journey was poised to take a promising turn. I swung by my desk to pick up a few items before making my way to the conference room. As I walked by Carrera's office, I caught a glimpse of her through the glass door, seated at her desk, engrossed in her work. She captured my attention with a subtle smile. I returned the smile, yet uncertainty lingered about the true nature of our connection. Certainly, she had extended this proposition to me, but what was her reasoning? I found myself pondering whether there was something deeper at play. This level of generosity couldn't possibly be solely about business. Perhaps she had a personal motive for wanting me to stay close. I dismissed the notion. Now was not the moment to be sidetracked by that. I had a task to complete. The discussion with Mr. Tambos unfolded seamlessly. He felt a twinge of surprise at the unexpected promotion, yet Carrera had already mentioned it to him, so it wasn't entirely unforeseen. He presented me with a stack of new documents outlining the role thoroughly, and I signed them all without hesitation. An exhilarating wave surged within me as I came to the realization that this was truly unfolding. I was finally making progress, but that's when things began to seem a bit askew. In the days that followed, Carrera and I shared courteous hellos, yet I couldn't rid myself of the impression that her demeanor towards me had shifted. Initially, it was merely understated. Small gestures, such as her lingering at my desk for a few extra minutes to chat, were her way of discovering opportunities to praise my work. It wasn't anything explicit, but it lingered in the air. That evening, after the day's work had concluded, she came to me once more. "Kevin," she said, approaching my desk. "I've been reflecting on your adjustment process. How are you doing at this point? Does the new position meet your expectations?" I glanced away from my screen, caught off guard by the inquiry. This was a conversation unlike any we had experienced previously. Indeed, things are progressing smoothly. It's somewhat daunting, to tell the truth, but I'm managing it. I appreciate the opportunity to demonstrate my abilities. Her smile held a deeper meaning, one that transcended mere friendliness. Something lurked in the shadows. Something profound. It's wonderful to know that. Your potential has always been evident, Kevin. I simply had to witness it firsthand. Her words stirred a sense of discomfort within me, yet I chose to set that feeling aside. Perhaps she was merely offering her support, ensuring that I felt at ease in my new position. However, that evening, an unforeseen event took place. As I toiled away in the office, immersed in the final details of some paperwork, a sudden knock on my office door interrupted my concentration. I raised my gaze to find Carrera framed in the doorway. Her outfit was different from the typical office wear. She had slipped into a more relaxed ensemble. I couldn't help but observe her striking appearance, yet I swiftly redirected my attention. "Kevin, I was just curious if you'd like to go out for a drink," she mentioned. Her tone was slightly more relaxed than normal. "It seems like you've been quite occupied lately, and I figured a little time to unwind might be just what you need." Colleagues often ventured out after work, yet this particular occasion carried an unusual weight. After a brief moment of uncertainty, I decided it wouldn't be a problem. Additionally, I was still acclimating to the new role, and perhaps it would be beneficial to engage with her more beyond the workplace. "Absolutely, that sounds great," I declared, snatching my jacket. "Let us proceed." We ventured to a local bar, one of those inviting places where the lighting was soft, and the music played gently enough to allow for conversation. As we settled at the table, Carrera took the initiative to order drinks for us, and our conversation began to flow effortlessly. Initially, the conversation revolved around light topics concerning the workplace, the organization, and the broader aspects of life. However, the dialogue began to shift towards a more intimate direction. "You know," she said, her gaze fixed on me with an earnest intensity, "I've been reflecting on the immense potential you possess, Kevin. It's uncommon to encounter an individual like you, committed, industrious, and incredibly motivated. I find that truly admirable." I found myself puzzled by her intentions. "Thank you, Carrera. I'm simply aiming to fulfill my responsibilities. Nothing remarkable." She smiled, yet an intensity flickered in her eyes, creating a sense of unease within me. "It's beyond that. You're unique, Kevin, and I believe you're aware of that." I chuckled uncomfortably, attempting to brush it aside. "I'm simply putting forth my utmost effort, just like everyone else." Yet she refused to let it slip away. "I understand this might come off as unusual, but I truly want you to know how proud I am of you. Your dedication has been remarkable, and you are worthy of all the rewards that await you. I want you to understand that I'm here for you, always. Not merely in the role of your boss's wife, but as an individual who genuinely values your achievements." Her words lingered in the atmosphere, and for the first time, I sensed that perhaps this proposal held deeper significance beyond mere commerce. Uncertainty clouded my thoughts, yet it became evident that she had transcended the role of merely being my boss's wife. She was treading into uncharted territory, and I found myself at a loss for how to respond. The evening unfolded, and our dialogue meandered, yet the sense of discomfort lingered within me. What is her true intention? I found myself navigating through complexities, yet an undeniable sensation lingered that I had unwittingly stepped into a realm far grander than I had anticipated. The following days seemed to unfold as if I were navigating two distinct realms. In the office, all appeared to be routine, perhaps even excessively so. The promotion was in full swing, and I was acclimating to my new responsibilities. People offered their congratulations, and Mr. Tambos even made some casual remarks about their anticipation for me to lead larger projects. It was the kind of experience I had envisioned when I embarked on my journey with this company. Yet, amidst it all, there was Carrera. Whenever I laid eyes on her, it was as if the atmosphere transformed in that moment. She maintained her politeness and professionalism, yet an unspoken tension lingered between us now. It wasn't merely the way she gazed at me during our conversations, as if she perceived something beyond the role of an employee. The subtle gestures, the gentle caresses, and the way she would chuckle just a bit longer at my humor captivated me. I attempted to let it go. Ultimately, I found myself in a new role, with a fresh horizon unfolding before me. That should have been sufficient to concentrate on, yet my thoughts continually wandered back to that evening at the bar. She hadn't taken any obvious steps, nothing I could highlight and declare as a clear sign, yet the chemistry was undeniable. On Thursday afternoon, I found myself at my desk, sorting through emails when I sensed a gentle tap on my shoulder. As I pivoted, I caught sight of Carrera positioned behind me, clutching a folder. "Do you have a moment?" she inquired, her tone silky yet sharp. "Certainly," I responded, attempting to maintain a relaxed demeanor. She entered my office and shut the door softly behind her. As the door clicked into place, a palpable change enveloped the room. It was as if her presence bore down on me more heavily than before. She passed me the folder and settled into the chair opposite my desk, her gaze fixed firmly on mine. "I would like to discuss a few details regarding your new position with you." She started, but her tone had shifted this time. It transcended mere labor. Her words held an unspoken depth, igniting a flutter in my chest that quickened my heartbeat. "Of course," I replied, attempting to concentrate on the documents laid out before me, yet I found myself unable to resist casting furtive looks in her direction, and it was clear she was aware of it. Her lips curled into a subtle, understanding smile. "Everything seems to be going wonderfully at this point, doesn't it?" she inquired. "Indeed, it's quite satisfactory," I remarked, striving to maintain a calm tone. "It's a bit much at the moment, but I'm finding my way through it." She reclined in her chair, legs crossed, and for a fleeting moment, I found myself captivated by her proximity. The atmosphere crackled with intensity. "I understand this is a significant shift for you," she said, her tone gentle. "However, you're really excelling, Kevin. I anticipated you would. That's why I aim to present you with something beyond the ordinary, something additional. Your excellence in all that you undertake truly deserves acknowledgement and appreciation." I arched an eyebrow, feeling a mix of curiosity and confusion about her meaning. "In what way is recognition achieved?" Her eyes remained unwavering. She gazed at me as if she were weighing her options, contemplating a decision. "I've been pondering some matters recently," she remarked, her voice lowering to a more personal, almost confidential tone. "I believe you are worthy of much more than a mere promotion. You truly deserve something more." A slight churn stirred within my stomach. Was she truly embarking on this journey? Was she genuinely implying what I believed she was implying? "I'm not quite sure I understand," I said, attempting to convey a sense of bewilderment. I hesitated to jump to conclusions, yet my intuition suggested that something was amiss. Coriara's smile wavered for just a moment before it brightened once more. "Kevin, I believe you possess great intelligence. You understand what I'm getting at. You've noticed how I gaze at you, haven't you?" I paused, caught in a moment of uncertainty about how to reply. I was reluctant to engage in this game, yet I also aimed to avoid any excessive reactions. I found myself uncertain about her expectations, yet I couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't the way professional relationships ought to function. Before I had a chance to reply, she rose and approached me. Her hand rested softly on my shoulder. Excessively soft. "You're an incredible person, Kevin, and I want to ensure you understand how much I value you. Not solely for your professional endeavors, but for your personal growth as well." My heart raced with excitement. This had transcended mere professionalism. The warmth surged within me, leaving me momentarily speechless. I realized I ought to speak up, yet my mind was a chaotic swirl of ideas. I needed to leave that place. I required some solitude to reflect. I couldn't allow myself to become entangled in this. Whatever this may be. "Crier," I finally managed to say, my voice strained, "I think I need to return to my duties." She lingered for a moment, not pulling away right away. She cast a prolonged, intense gaze my way, stirring an unsettling sensation within me that I couldn't quite articulate. At last, she withdrew her hand and offered a smile. "Certainly," she replied, her tone unexpectedly bright. "We'll discuss this further later on." As she exited my office, a swirl of emotions washed over me, confusion, fear, and an unnamed feeling that lingered in the air. I'd never encountered a scenario like this before, and for the first time in ages, I recognized that the boundaries between my professional life and personal life had become blurred. Uncertainty loomed over me, yet an instinct whispered that I had ventured too far to retreat at this point. The upcoming days at the office passed in a haze. I put in every effort to maintain my concentration, yet each time I settled at my desk, the vision of Crier's face lingered in my mind. Her smile, the way she gazed at me as if she held secrets untold, and that hand resting on my shoulder, it stayed with me longer than I was willing to acknowledge. It felt nearly unfeasible to act as if nothing had transpired between us. The change was also observed by those in the office. Soft murmurs floated through the air, accompanied by furtive looks as I walked past, yet no one had the courage to voice their curiosity directly. Tension filled the air, and I understood the reason behind it. The promotion was significant, and whispers were already circulating regarding Crier's unexpected interest in me. By Monday, the tension had become impossible to overlook. I found myself reflecting on that conversation we shared in my office, pondering whether it had been a fleeting moment of vulnerability for her, or if there was something deeper at play. Uncertainty lingered, yet one truth stood out unmistakably. She had crossed a boundary, and I found myself torn between pursuing her and retreating. As I stood in the break room, pouring myself a cup of coffee, she entered the space. My heart raced with excitement. Her approach caught me off guard, arriving sooner than I anticipated, yet she was quick to make her move. She approached me directly, her gaze piercing, seemingly insisting that I focus on her. "Hey, Kevin," she said, her voice soft, carrying an intimacy that felt surprising for someone I had only just begun collaborating with. "Could we have a conversation?" A lump formed in my throat, yet I managed to nod. "Absolutely," I remarked, attempting to maintain my composure. We exited the break room in unison, and she guided me to a quieter spot near the back offices. The atmosphere surrounding us was charged with expectation, and I sensed she was on the verge of uttering words that would alter the course of our lives. "I've been reflecting deeply on the events of the other day," she started, her voice soft and almost inaudible. "I want to avoid any discomfort between us, yet I can't overlook my feelings." I remained quiet, thoughts swirling in my head. Could this truly be unfolding? Was she truly about to confess what I believed she was about to confess? I never intended for things to become this intricate. She moved in closer, her voice steady, "But I need you to know that I've never experienced these feelings for a colleague before, and you occupy my thoughts constantly." I was completely at a loss for words. I felt compelled to express my concerns, to convey that this approach was misguided, yet the words eluded me. I remained motionless, as if caught in a moment that would never end. Carrera advanced another step, narrowing the gap that separated us. "I understand this is a gamble," she admitted, her fingers brushing against my arm, "but my feelings are beyond my control. I'm curious to explore the possibilities ahead. Just you and I, away from the complexities of workplace dynamics." A peculiar attraction drew me to her. Her presence was undeniably captivating, an inexplicable force that drew me in. Despite my desire to distance myself, I found myself rooted in place, entranced by her gaze, uncertain of my next move. I began, yet the words felt trapped within me. "This moment isn't suitable, Carrera. This situation must be kept under control." She smiled, yet it lacked any sense of reassurance. It felt as if she was challenging me to jump into the unknown alongside her. "At this moment, Kevin, I'm not requesting anything additional. Consider it for a moment. Contemplate the possibilities that lie ahead." Her words lingered, and I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. Her confidence radiated, a certainty in her demeanor that left me questioning my own ability to cope with it. Yet, a part of me, something profound within, felt the allure. The aspect of my being that yearned for something beyond the ordinary cadence of daily existence. "I require a moment to reflect on this matter. I suggested that you attempt to take back some control over the situation. I will find a way to navigate through this." Carrera took a step back, her expression becoming gentler. Feel free to take as much time as you require, but try not to delay for too long, Kevin. You're aware of my location. I remained rooted in place, observing her retreating figure, and it struck me that an immense burden had suddenly settled upon me. I was completely at a loss about what to do next. I had ventured too far with her, and there was no way to return. I was aware it was a mistake, that it had the potential to destroy everything. The work I do, the path I've chosen, my connections with colleagues in the workplace. Yet, I was powerless to change my emotions. A decision had to be made, and quickly. Yet, whenever I believed I had found the solution, my thoughts would inevitably return to her. The manner in which she gazed at me, the tone in which she addressed me. I was acutely aware that I was treading on perilous ground, and it was just a question of when I would lose all sense of control. I simply wasn't certain if I was prepared to release it just yet. The days that came after that conversation with Carrera felt like a haze. The heaviness of the past clung to me, and despite my efforts, I couldn't dispel the memory of her. The allure of the promotion and the financial gain weren't the only things that occupied my thoughts about her. It was an experience unlike any other, resonating on a profound level. The way she spoke, the gaze she directed my way, the bond we felt in that instant. It all seemed like a significant transformation in my life. Yet, I understood it was more than mere attraction. This was intricate. We collaborated closely, and although I found her suggestion appealing, it would lead to outcomes I wasn't prepared to face. I needed to confront my own truth. I wasn't overwhelmed. On that Friday, I sat in my office, gazing at the promotion papers laid out before me. The proposal lingered before me, a constant reminder, yet it had evolved beyond mere employment. It revolved around my aspirations, my standing, and above all, the stakes I was prepared to embrace. I had to keep my feelings in check to maintain clarity in my decisions. I felt the urge to reach out, seeking some understanding. But whom could I rely on? My companions? They would never grasp it. No, this was not something I could disclose to anyone. I found myself alone in this situation, and I needed to navigate it myself. As the day drew to a close, Carrera once more stood at my door. She tapped gently before stepping inside, her gaze brimming with expectation. "Kevin," she murmured, her voice gentle, nearly caressing the air. "It's time for a conversation." I inclined my head and motioned for her to take a seat. My heart raced within me as I observed her, questioning if she could perceive the turmoil I felt inside. Regarding the events that unfolded, I started to focus on maintaining a calm and even tone. "I've been reflecting deeply, Carrera, and I believe this is not a path we can pursue any longer. It's overwhelming, excessively intricate." Her expression dimmed for a moment, but she swiftly regained her composure. "Kevin, there's no rush to make a decision at this moment. I recognize that this may be overwhelming, but I want you to be aware that I'm here for you, ready to offer my support, no matter what you choose." I gazed at her for a moment, searching for the perfect words to express my thoughts. It was a challenging sentiment to express, yet I understood it was the correct choice. It seems like stepping back might be the best option for me. I must concentrate on my professional journey and aspirations. This can no longer obscure my clarity of thought. This path doesn't resonate with me, Carrera. She leaned back, her eyes gentle, devoid of anger or frustration. However, there was an unexpected twist. Departure. "I understand, Kevin," she said softly. "I honor your choice. I won't obstruct your path." Her reply struck me more profoundly than I anticipated. I anticipated her to dispute, to attempt to sway my opinion in another direction. However, she appeared to embrace it. It didn't align with my expectations, yet it turned out to be exactly what I required. After what felt like an eternity, a sense of relief washed over me, as if a burden had finally been released. The decision I made was indeed the correct one. I wasn't about to jeopardize everything, my career, my future, and the hard-earned reputation I had built, for something that could ultimately bring more trouble than benefit. Yet, in the midst of that choice, a flicker of regret tugged at my heart. I had turned my back on an opportunity that held the potential for greater things. It had the potential to be everything I had ever desired. Yet, at this moment, clarity dawned upon me. What I desired transcended her, the promotion, and the financial gain. It was about honoring my own worth. It was about selecting paths that resonated with my true self, rather than succumbing to the allure of who I might become. "Thank you," I remarked, shattering the stillness. "Thank you for all that you do, Carrera. I truly do." She offered a subtle smile as she rose to her feet. "It was my pleasure, Kevin. I will always be available whenever you require assistance." With that, she pivoted and exited my office for the final time. The following morning, I submitted my resignation, though it unfolded differently than I had initially envisioned. I was no longer departing from the company out of frustration or disappointment. I was departing because I had gained something significant. The significance of my career, my future, and my peace of mind far outweighed any fleeting allure. As I stepped out of that office, clarity washed over me, affirming that I had chosen wisely. The allure had faded, the haze had lifted, and for the first time in ages, I sensed that I was steering my own life once more. As I strolled to my car, the sun casting its warm glow upon me, it struck me that at times, stepping away from a situation is both the most challenging and the wisest choice one can make. I wasn't merely turning my back on Carrera. I was striding confidently toward the future I had diligently crafted. As I drove away, a sense of certainty washed over me. My narrative was far from complete. I had made a decision, and I was determined to ensure it mattered.